Uh, Brood makes it really hard for melee heroes to trade. Just all her spells are just so good in lane now. She's really great at trading. She's really great at existing. Six, it's just impossible. It's impossible.
Do you think SMG's draft has enough to carry them through laning phase into mid game into potential late? Or right now it's just looking, yeah, they might win lane, but there is this period in which they're really going to struggle to stay as like a power team.
I don't think so.
Mm?
Do you think, God? I think that I think Earthshaker is a
Well,
slow 4. But
Yeah, oh, for sure.
yeah, but like Tide. This Tide is then a 5, right? So this Tide's gonna play 5.
Yeah,
And
they're gonna pick some mid one carry now. Like,
yeah, but mid one can play tempo carries like Bristleback and stuff or whatever. I don't think he will this game, but like Queen of Pain can easily like link up with Brood and make plays or whatever, or like Tide needs only level 6. Okay, their supports are really greedy. That's the worst thing they have going.
yeah, their supports are greedy. They're not the best at play. They're not the best at playmaking until like they get like blink daggers, for example. If the lanes go poorly, they can't fix the lanes. I think that's something kind of important to note. There's going to be all the pressure on this Queen of Pain to basically make every single move for the team. So they need this Brood lane to go well. It should go well. But if it doesn't, then they could be in some trouble. Same for mid one's lane. They can't. If mid one has a tough time, they don't have an easy way to kind of help him catch up and recover.
Centaur got through the banning phase and is now going to be picked up from Execration. We saw it as the last ban from SMG last time. Doesn't get banned this time. It gets through, gets picked up. You know I'm going to ask you guys if you like it or not.
It's okay. It's like the nice thing about it is it provides escape for Drow. Like Drow's most important thing in this game is going to be positioning, and Centaur helps her get to that. It's like it's not like they don't have answers. Puck Coil's really effective against Brood. I think like Weaver is a hero that's helps provide a lot of damage. So him and Puck together, maybe with someone else, they should be able to go hunt and kill Brood. Like your Shaker really wants to take up a lane somewhere and farm, and Tide is gonna be like immobile basically, and also want to kind of sit in a lane and farm. So when you have two supports that want to sit in a lane and farm, Brood's gonna take an entire like side of the map to herself, and then you still have a carry that wants to farm.
Yeah, it's like
where is all this farm coming from?
I don't actually think Execration like it's like getting this Drow's game to work is going to be really hard playing into the Brood, but overall their draft looks way more balanced. It looks more solid other than the fact that this Brood could cause all kinds of problems. Like this Shaker Tide support is kind of dubious, particularly with a Brood plus mid one being a very greedy carry player. But yeah, the Brood factor and SMG I think overall have looked like the more solid team, the more skilled team. So
You think
Pick something not greedy.
the Execration could be easier to execute though, right? As long as they're dealing with this Brood.
yeah, if they're dealing with the Brood, that's the big if.
All
Also
the rotations for her, constantly jumping on her.
yeah, they need their lanes to go okay. Like if Puck has a 50-50 mid lane, Puck is like just a better roamer than the Queen of Pain in general too, because you've got that TP in, you coil the Brood, you can kill her. Or do that for any hero that's diving a tower or pushing too far. Centaur, you hit 6, you stampede, you can use it to get kills, you can use it to save Drow. And there's the mid one here that's you wanted less greedy sheep.
Yeah, that's they needed that. If they picked anything that required any semblance of like hard farm, it was really hard to play. But no, this is really great. I think mid one now means he can play with Moon, play with like they're probably going to be pretty passive. I would say like outside of Raging Potato Brood like trying to pop off, like they're going to be playing pretty passive until they reach timings on like Shaker Dagger. They'll be playing like off of Tide 6. I think every time Ravage is down, they don't really want to do a lot. Execration, meanwhile, they're gonna have to like step on the gas, try and do as much as they can with Bob. Bob is gonna have to do so much.
Alrighty, I'm going to take it then from this. You're both Team SMG for this. Only 2-game series.
I would I want to go Execration. I'm just worried that mid lane as well as the mid one safe. I mean, I just worried that their side lanes, particularly SMG, is going to win them. I think if the game is even at 15 minutes, less than 1k gold lead, I think Execration will win. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Agree, Sheep?
No, I think it's probably going to be even until Shaker gets dagger and stuff, and then they're just going to go win the game.
Make some plays, yeah.
Yeah.
I can
We'll
see
go
that.
one for SMG, one for Execration.
Oh, I'm SMG too.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right.
Very slight, very one specific condition I'm Execration.
At the
Yeah.
15-minute mark, you might be Execration, but you've heard what our thoughts are on the panel. Let's hear what MLP and John have as they take it away for game number 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are on to our game number 2 between Execration and SMG. And John, we've got another Broodmother game here upon us today for this game too. Tell me though, this time around, do you think this Broodmother's going to pull off the victory?
I think so. I don't think you have quite the counters here on Execration. They do manage to at least get the Centaur at the end, so they can kind of stampede away in case the spiders get too much, which is not something you can do in Australia, Mike, unfortunately. If the spiders do come out, you're kind of stuck there. Still, they've got the option to run away now. I just don't know if they've got enough to clear out. Like, their wave clear is somewhat there with a puck, and to an extent, you could argue Drow Ranger can kind of do that as well. I think SMG's draft is just really filled in. Even outside of that Brood pick, they've got the Afu Shaker. And you and I were having a chat about that. Afu on the Shaker is always on point with his rotations. Like, around 2 minutes, he's going to be down mid to secure water rune. He's going to be back for 4 minutes. He's going to be back by 6, and he's going to camp mid. And they play around that timing really well in SMG. So I think Execration's got to watch out for that. The puck is very slippery, though, Mike. So Bob could possibly just escape the ganks. But that pressure will be there from SMG from the get-go.
Oh, absolutely. And we saw that in game 1, right? They're looking to finish these games quick. They're looking to assert their dominance. And we'll see if they can do it in game 2, as we do have game 2 underway now. So we did have a very quick pause, but it is all over now. Very, very good to see, as we do have a 5-man smoke now from SMG. See if they can find themselves a kill, or whether this is just going to be a bit of a warding run here from this Radiant side. But it does seem like it might be a bit of both, as Arfu seeing a very deep ward there on the dire triangle. But Raging puts another on the left side of the mid lane. So they want double observer wards just for Moon here, as they have found Kamizu out on this Centaur. But can they lock him down? Well, the Fisher will land. It's going to be a lot of damage flying out from mid one. One more would do it, and he does get it in time. Just before that tier 2 tower. And mid one going to be very happy with that start.
Yeah, it's an excellent start for the safe lane Razor. Lots of added gold. Mid one already flying something out on the courier. Looks like he gets his full rate band, so a little bit more stats in lane. That is to tell for Kimizu's lane as well. He's going to have to deal with that Razor. As a melee hero on the Centaur, not going to feel amazing. At least the Weaver can try to kind of create space there, but looks like SMG's going to swing back. They're not going to force the issue into bounties themselves. They might have to settle with 2, but they could look for another kill op if they want.
They may. Mid one, he's more than happy with the Sonic link up, but Vincenzo, he's going to get aggressive with the Ignite, and of course Carlo just rush forward to make sure that they do not turn. And SMG, they'll still walk away with a pretty even banner in kind of trade, I believe. And of course, first blood again to mid one is going to feel very nice. With that though, we'll talk about the bot lane first, I suppose. Mid one there with Roger, of course, against Kimizu and Carlo. You talked about the Centaur being a bit of a brood counter here. Naturally, it does do a decent enough job, but I wouldn't say it's the most amazing counter in the world. In this laning phase, though, John, do you feel like Kimizu can have any impact against Roger and mid one, or does it kind of go the other way?
I think it's a lot easier for SMG in this lane. Like Carlo, they've got only 1 stun in this lane, which is not typical of a lot of center lanes. You tend to get a combination for double stuns. Mid one can just static click, and Carlo's already low.
Well, he has Sakuchi again. He's going to have to try and juke this one out as mid one. He's not done chasing, and he just spotted him out, I think. No, Carlo, he was within the fog, and somehow he makes it out of it.
Yeah, gets to live. Does have to pop the salve on himself, which I think is still to the benefit of SMG. There's no instant heal coming out from Kimizu. If he does, start to drop a bit low. There are a lot of tangos, though, on both sides, so they have a lot to fix. And we're getting some log issues. Typical Southeast Asian log.
I love the fact that Carlos, he misspells lag and then just says log. And now he's still saying log. What does that mean, John?
It's the joke.
Lagging because of the brood?
Yeah, why not? Lagging brood. Snobbers. Carlos saying that Raging snobbing them. Oh, there's that back and forth, Mike.
Wow.
There's what we were saying. They're targeting the one Filipino on the other side.
I mean, Rage, he's fitting the side of SMG very well. Go on, John, translate more for me. What's going on?
Carlo is saying, chat him up when the prize is there, otherwise he's not going to be noticed. I don't know what prize, I don't know what they're talking about, but there it is.
You've got the chat started now, John. I can imagine the Mafia comments being made right now. Well, SMG and Execration. I mean, we'll have a look at the other lanes while we have a chance as well. Of course, mid lane, Moon going to be there against Bob. The Queen of Pain versus Puck matchup. Last time around, John, Bob had a pretty rough time throughout the mid lane in game 1. This game on the Puck, do you have more faith in him, or do you feel like Moon might have the advantage?
It's a manageable lane for Puck. It's hard to see a Puck completely lose a lane, but Moon's doing a great job in just zoning out. He does opt for a Blink Scream of Pain build, so that gives him more wave clear, maybe less harassment onto Bob, and Bob has ways to dodge, so there is that there in that mid matchup.
Roger ends up dropping down a bot lane as Carlo able to pick up the kill. You had Kimizu and Carlo just slowly chasing him down with the swarm, and it was a nice easy kill to secure there as mid 1 did not have the link to help out. And of course, the final lane we should talk about is the top lane, where you're going to see Nando and Vincenzo against Arfu and Raging Potato. Very excited to see the Drow flying out, John. The Nando doesn't seem to have the full Arcana set committed to himself, which is a little bit upsetting. Still, laning phase, how do you feel about it? Who has the advantage?
It feels like it should be a better time for the Broodmother, honestly. Like, I feel like it's gonna be hard to zone out the Brood down the line. You can't really apply harassment onto Nando as a Brood, to be fair. Like, it's not easy to run up. There's a lot of slows there. There's some good control coming out as well from Execration with Vincenzo cutting off. But you've always got Afu with a Fisher Bolt, and that's something that Drought can't really play around as well. You kind of have to walk away. You have really low move speed, so it's hard to reroute yourself for that aggression.
Something else they can't really play around right now, John. Mid 1's been very annoying on this Razor, and again, finding out Carlo, this time actually securing the kill on the Weaver. You know, Kimizu, he just cannot help on the Centaur if you do get caught out without Sakuchi. Kimizu, I mean, at least has the Ring of Health up now on the Centaur to be able to sustain himself in this laning phase, but it does feel like it's a very free time for mid 1 right now as top lane. Raging's going to be chased down. The slows are out, so there should be a kill out for Nando, but he'll try to heal up. Raging, how long could you survive? Not long enough to eventually get through him. Nando able to take his first kill of the game on the Drow.
Yeah, and it's looking pretty even here for Execration. They are finding some trades here and there. I think the aggression up top is actually keeping Afu from going mid.
Oh, Moon, he went for a very greedy play in that mid lane, trying to get Carlo, but ends up paying for it, and naturally the tips come out.
Good punishment coming out from Execration. Again, tying into the fact that Afu can't leave this lane. Just being run down now.
And Carlo, apart from the death he just had, he's been looking fantastic thus far in this Weaver. Already 3 kills on Carlo, and he's been in every lane so far, John. We're only 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, just leveraging that movement speed he has with Shikuchi to shift lanes every single time, help Execration find that aggression. Again, all the movement out from Execration is keeping SMG from playing to the pace we know they like to play when they've got Shaker. Afu's not been able to leave the top lane. He hasn't been able to assist in mid to look for that kill opportunity onto Bob, and that's giving Execration a lot of ways to run around here.
Uh-oh, Raging, top lane again gonna find himself in danger. They do take him down on the Brood. And Carlo, again, just being a real nuisance here on this Weaver. Of course, there was a bit of action going on in the mid lane, but it does seem like Bob has managed to make his way out. And so far, so good for Execration. I mean, 2-5 with a very slight net worth lead, but they are certainly doing a great job of applying pressure in pretty much every single lane.
And for SMG, that's going to cause him a lot of trouble down the line. Like, Afu is off to a really slow start in the Shaker. Still level 2. He's a long way off from any of his items needed. And Execration with all the movement out, I mean, Kimizu can just kind of play creep skip. He doesn't quite have the retaliate, so he can't clear up the creep wave that well. And this is giving mid 1 a lot more room to farm up, but it's giving room for the center to also kind of catch up. And again, you just keep trying to run up top.
Nando barely gets himself out. Meanwhile, mid lane, Coil has been committed. They've got the quad, but do they have the damage? It doesn't seem like they will. So the Moon, he'll survive throughout the first Dream Coil, and now Bob is being chased, but Moon was not at that level 6 mark yet, so doesn't have the Sonic Wave available. Had he hit level 6, he would have been able to secure that kill as the phase shift was on cooldown, but just wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity. You are still keeping Bob in check, still slightly behind Moon at least in terms of net worth, so the puck isn't quite off to that snowball start you'd want, but it's taking a lot of resources from SMG to get that done, forcing Roger towards mid, opening up the aggression for Execration on the top lane once more. I think your big issue right now for Execration is that despite all this movement, mid 1 is still free farming on the Razor. Number 1 in net worth, and the Razor timings are very early, Mike, so if he does find these early build-ups, mid 1 could be ready to join these fights very early on.
I suppose that's a point I should have made as well. I should have corrected myself, John. The only lane that Execration aren't dominating right now is the bot lane, where mid 1 is freely farming up on this Razor. And it does continue to be the case, as there is just no contest here for mid 1. As I say that, there is a smoke out from Bob and Carlo, so here comes the contest. They'll rotate down towards the bot side. See if they can land that Dream Call onto mid 1 in time. You've got R4 around to try and help him out, but they might try to make the time for themselves. Carlo, he'll show up. There's Bob with the silence out. The Tide is going to try and help him back. That very nice Fisher. It'll block the way. Just waiting at the coil here is mid 1, but the Fire Blast is there. Still, the damage is not enough, but Kamizu, he'll get it done. As Sonic Wave is out from Moon, they'll try to trade now. Onto the Centaur they go. Kamizu, he'll be the first to drop here for Execration, but can they find any more? Carlo, he'll turn around for Roger, but it will cost him his own life, and a fair bit of gold to go the way of Arthur's Moon. He's not done yet. Onto Vincenzo he goes. He wants that Ogre down, but Bob's going to be a bit of a nuisance here, trying to fight back, and it looks like it should be enough to allow Vincenzo to get himself out. And overall, you'd have to call that a decent win for the side of Execration, as they do finally get mid 1.
Yeah, great kill on the Razor, great rotation out, great use of that smoke. Execration, again, lining up the aggression here. They aren't even fully tooled up to get these fights. Like, they don't have Stampede and Kimizu, they don't have anything on the center to really contribute, but it's enough just having Bob around with this great start to kind of get the control of it.
Great phase shift out from Bob, just avoiding the Fisher completely from Arfu. And in the meantime, Nando, he's been free farming now on this drought. Very scary stuff here for SMG later on. Almost at that Dragonlance timing.
Yeah, more stats, more range to hit. I think giving out the top lane is a pretty scary prospect. Raging has managed to catch up, building towards that Orchid now. Does take the top tier 1 tower as well, so there's some room here to invade that top jungle. They even have the forward ward still watching that area. They can kind of start to shut down Nando if they feel like they need to make the moves in this jungle, and Raging can start building up and denying that farm away from the Drano. So Execration has to be ready to shift gears, maybe start to emphasize the bot lane here, Mike. Look for their own push to open up the bot jungle to have Nando somewhere safe to farm.
Execration, they'll make their way over into that dire jungle. No real vision over Raging or Arfu, but they can just guess that the Brood is here. You've got the coil up on Bob. Carlo, he's going to intercept here onto Raging. They're just trying to break the gap to make it in time, but no, they can't quite get there. In fact, they'll have to turn onto Arfu instead. Try to just take what they can get. They should be able to at least find the Shaker. Arfu, he will eventually drop. But if you're SMG, you're pretty satisfied that at the very least Raging does get out of there.
Yeah, it's forcing a big rotation up top just to find the Ogre. Raging still farming up in the small and medium camps inside. They aren't shutting down Nando though. At the jungle, there's still some room for the Drought to keep playing here, and that is cause of concern. Nando is still keeping up in farm, despite that slightly slower laning start. Still sitting at number 3 in net worth. The rest of SMG are around him though in terms of farm. So there is still more time needed here for Nando, and they do have to keep that aggression up on top. Although, Roger.
On they go. Fisher is there though from Arfu to make sure he is remaining protected, as Vincenzo now will be targeted by Moon, but it's just an Ogre and they won't go for the chase. Not towards that tier 1 mid. Instead, SMG, they'll group up with mid 1 down at the bot lane and perhaps try for that bot tier 1 tower. I mean, it is already fairly low. You may as well go ahead and take that one out. It's exactly what SMG try to do. In fact, never mind that. They'll jump into the triangle, back in onto the Ogre, and eventually Vincenzo should drop, and does. But Carlo, he'll rotate. They'll try to force another team fight as Kamizu does pop the Stampede. Back in on Moon they go, but a nice Sonic Wave out from Moon will force them back, and Kamizu, he may just drop, and does. Arfu, he gets another kill on the Shaker as Carlo is still trying after the Quap, but Moon, he is tanky enough to get himself out. And SMG, they'll find a 2-for-1. You'd be happy with that if you're SMG.
Yeah, it's not as clean as SMG would like. It is still slightly favoring Execration overall and killed 6-9, but the lead is piling up for SMG. While all that action breaks down, but there's a ton of space for Raging up top. He's just constantly shoving into that top tier 2. Level 9 now on the Brood. The Orchid is flying out as well, Mike. So our Brood can start hitting really hard and look for that kill opportunity. SMG, they are smoked up. They've got the Echo Slam ready on Afu. Doesn't quite have his blink. No level 6 yet on Roger, so the lockdown might be a bit lacking, but they are going to go.
Oh, nice Fisher. Out from Afu, Carlo, he can spot a dangerous Moon, wants to keep the chase up, but the Dream Call is there from Bob onto 3 targets. Echo Slam, oh, it's completely whiffed Bob. He phase shifts out of it. They connect on nothing as Afu now. He'll be slowly chased down. A nice slam, but is it going to be enough? Not quite, but here comes mid one. He'll try to help out the team as Raging. He comes in from the side, onto the Weaver they go. He'll let the Spiderlings do the work, and that they will, as Nando was spotted, but he is too far to chase. Or is he? Raging still trying. Moon does blink forward. They do have the Orchid almost up on Raging with the mana now available. So Nando, he is not out of the woods quite yet as Moon. He's made the jump right in and they've got him. Nando to be the second to drop, and well, it looked like such a bad start for SMG, but in the end they make it work.
Great movement out from Raging, just hooking in from the top lane. Lots of move speed on that Brood, and it's that timing with the Orchid. He wants to fight.
Mid one, he'll just keep it up. They just want that tier 1 mid tower. Does feel like SMG might be forced to go for a bit of a reset. Execration, they have respawned and are looking rather healthy as Bob. You see him take down Roger, but Moon now with the Sonic Wave. It does connect this time around. Bob, he didn't get to the high ground. Oh, he did not get to the high ground with the orb. That is rather unfortunate there for Bob.
Yeah, on the edge. Good punishment out from SMG. Again, building up on the aggression that their lineup wants to hit. They've got really early spikes on the Razor, on the Quap, on the Broodmother. They want to get going now. And finding that kill on Nando is huge as well. It sets back your Drow even more. There's starting to be a noticeable gap with Nando and the rest of the chorus of SMG outside of Moon. And the Drow, it needs a lot to get going. There's a lot of farm you need. Just the Dragon Lance won't cut it. Once this mid-tier 1 is being pressured by SMG as well, Execration need to fight back. They cannot afford to lose the mid-tier 1 early on, as it provides a lot of protection for the jungle, but you're up against a Brood, you're up against a Razor. There's a lot of push here and not a lot of counter fight from Execration for that.
Oh, absolutely not. That tier 1 mid tower not going to last very long here with Raging around, and well, Carlo, he shows up, but there's just nothing a Weaver can do right now to stop the Broodmother. And that's the tower you wanted if you're SMG to really open up this map. Now you look toward that top tier 2 tower, and then you start talking about Roshan. Now, with the way things are going, they might go for Roshan first. They jump in onto the Centaur now. Do they have the damage in time? Yeah, they do with the Orchid. Raging's got plenty. And with the TP, Kimizu, he's just not tanky enough.
No. Way too soft, and they can start to invade that jungle, as you mentioned, take over the farm once more on the top. They've got a good ward watching that south side entrance. They could gun for the tier 2 tower first, take the outpost afterwards, and completely lock it out from Execration. Again, for Execration, their team fight mainly hinges on Bob and Kimizu. And that Dream Coil is pretty much their entire setup for good follow-up from Kimizu. Doesn't have the blink yet in the Centaur. It's a lot harder to land those stomps. They will go for the smoke play, though. They've got the Stampede ready to engage. They know where SMG is playing up top. They just need to find that angle, Mike.
Still that tier 2 top tower. I mean, it's going to go down quite fast if they don't address Raging Potato. They're going to try now, but he's got help around him. How do you initiate? I mean, Bob, he's got the coil, and that's exactly how they'll have to start. They do commit it. He'll break straight away. Where's the help? It's incoming. Mid one, he'll join in, but no, it's too late. Raging is already gone as Roger. He thought about the Ravage, but now he's been left behind. Or has he? Ravage now, committed. He does connect on 3 heroes as Kimizu about to drop a Roger. He's already gone, and now mid one. He's gone too far. A bit of miscommunication, it seems, but no, the Fisher and the Sonic Wave out. It may have bought some time. It's Vincenzo. He will at least go down, but Bob, he's the bigger target. And Moon, well, he won't make the jump in on either. He won't risk it. But Afu will. The patience from Afu does pay off as he gets a double kill on the Earthshaker. And it's up to Carlo now on that Weaver. Can they find the final piece of the puzzle? Oh, Carlo, it looks like he's going to be just fine with the tumblers. He'll make it out. Or will he? Moon. Jumping back in, Carlo. Not out of the woods yet. Fisher will be off the mark though. Moon, he'll keep chasing around. But eventually we'll just give up on it and just get the hell out of there.
It's a great blink reveal out from Afu. Finds the kill on Bob in the end. That is buying space on the bot lane. Fernando pushes in that bot tier 1. Gets some farm going for himself on the Drow. Has the Yasha up into the Manta next. It's a long ways off from being a big menacing Drow. I think that's key timing. SMG has such early timings. Execration have a little bit later timings coming through, and they can just keep running around knowing that these heroes aren't ready to really commit for a big fight.
Yeah, bot lane, Kimizu, he's gone. Nice easy pick off there for mid 1. Needed the gush there from Roger, and that was about it. Meanwhile, top side, Raging, seeing an Ogre, wants to go for it. The Fish is going to be there to cancel the TP up. Poor old Vincenzo, he'll be spider food now. No really running here from Raging. So they're looking towards that top tier 2 tower, and I think this time around, John, they might be able to set up for it.
On the triangle though, Midwin and Roger are alone.
And Coil's going to land onto the Razor, but he's got the static link going, so Bob's going to have really no damage. It may not matter though, because you've got Nando and Carlo around to help out, but mid one's got the BKB. So just commits it and walks out of there. And at most, you end up losing Roger on the Tide. But John, in the meantime, Raging does end up getting that top tier 2. And that's going to open up the Outpost and Roshan for SMG.
It's a lot of control. Execration's bleeding away with that tower take. Like, they're just not able to stop Raging. Their lineup isn't quite equipped to clear out the Brood. They've got a way to run away from the Brood, the Centaur, but the wave clear is just not there. And with that movement onto the triangle, it just gave so much room out for Raging to get that done. I think for Execration now, they need a little bit more to come out onto Kimizu and onto Bob. Like, Bob is trying to work straight into an Aeon Disc so he doesn't get bursted. That will mean that at least he can throw some follow-up spells, but damage is going to be a bit of an issue.
Another aggressive blink in from Moon. He's been silenced up with no BKB available. He's a bit of a sitting duck right now, but the Ravage is there. Moon, no, he can't survive. He cannot survive it as Roger. A little bit slow on the ulti, may pay, but no, the Echo Slam Afu. He's going to try and turn this one around, end up taking down Bob already. Kimizu is just trying to survive, but he might just die to Raging as the chase is on. Still Afu trying to back off himself, but now Nando, he's been targeted with the TPR. Can he make it in time? It does seem like he can. So Execration with a pretty big win here over SMG. It's a 3-for-1 trade. SMG, they're just going to have to lick their wounds and back off out of there.
And they've got to be cautious about diving in that deep. You have to respect some of that control on Execration. They've got a lot of silences to deal with that Quap when she does go in deep. So you've got to mind yourself, although Carlo.
And Orchid Bowler out, and that'll be enough. Raging will take another kill for himself. In all things being said and done, John, it's still a 3k net worth lead for SMG. But I suppose as time goes on, you do start to have a lot more faith in this Drow throughout the late game. Assuming mid one can't close the gap. We'll see what happens. I mean, mid one right now just very defensive, going for a Lincoln's, or rather a Refresher Orb, never mind Lincoln's. Once you have that Refresher Orb up though with the double ulti, things get very, very painful if you are Execration.
Bob in danger. He used the Dream Coil already. He whiffed it.
And he did. Sonic Wave, not going to be committed yet. Moon, no, never going to throw it out. Still has the blink up though. He's going to keep up the chase. The orb is there. Does Moon want to keep going? Not this time around. Still the bot tier 1 tower again, just very low. They might just go ahead and finish that one off.
Yep. Free take for SMG opens up the triangle even more for them to invade. We were talking about that Roche timing earlier, Mike. I'm a bit surprised SMG aren't opting to play there, getting that second life up and just playing aggressive behind it. Still.
Oh, nice Fisher from Afu. I mean, these Fishers from Afu. This man's ridiculous on the Shakers. They've even found Nando. Vincenzo's around to try and help out, and with the Bloodlust and Stampede, it'll be enough to get him out of there. They might go north instead. They've seen Bob. Smoke out, Afu. We'll see if he can initiate. The TP is there from Bob, and there'll be no Blind Fisher in time. They get Carlo, but that's about it.
Really well placed ward from Execration. Unfortunate for SMG to pop that smoke under the ward. That did give Bob the warning to bail out, so managed to escape, but that does open up the Roshan we've been talking about, Mike. Raging jumps in. They've got the minus armor from Roger. They've got the damage on mid one. They can just get to work. Good micro out from Raging as well to ensure that Spiderlings live. And, as is tradition, double damage on Moon. So there you go.
SMG. I'll just keep going, but there is going to be a big smoke up here from Execration. They try to find their way in. They'll wrap through the Radiant side, but they may have waited too long as Roshan is now down. They'll still try to initiate by taking down the Tide, but the Ravage is there in time, and now the Sonic Wave out Moon. He lands on 3 heroes, Kamizu and Nando just trying to get out of there. Kamizu, though, he won't be lucky enough to get out. Vincenzo, he'll be the second to drop, it seems. In fact, make it third, as they even lost Bob. There might be a fourth as Carlo has also been caught out here by Arfu into the Echo, and they get another. Very risky fight to take for Execration, and it just does not pay off.
Now, I'm surprised they forced that issue on Execration side. They did not have Stampede up. They needed that Stampede to reposition themselves, to find a better spot, to find the angle to go in. And they felt like maybe the Dream Foil would have been enough to jump in. I think it's such a tight spot, you kind of want to be able to weave in and out, especially since there's a Shaker. So you kind of have to ensure that you can force out a movement from the Shaker, jump back in, clump up when the slam is already expended or before it can be expended, and run from there. With that, SMG has that huge opening. They're going to take the mid tier 2, denied by Nando. They do clear out the Spiderlings as well with Kimizu, with some good gold coming out for a Centaur. But that doesn't offset the loss of map control. With the mid and top tier 2s gone, SMG can just keep playing aggressive here.
Here we go. They have already found Bob on that puck tip sound as they move in for more. They've got that primary target. They've got Nando. He's trying to run with the Stampede out, but it may not be enough as mid one. He's just running way too quick. Carlo, he's just being ignored right now as they just go after Vincenzo instead.
Oh.
And the Fisher out from Arfu. It's just perfect, John. I realize mid one's the one with the triple kill, but Arfu with these fishes. I mean, this man is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about it, Mike. Afu Shaker. It's something SMG knows how to play around. It's something Afu is very intimately familiar with. He knows how to push this hero to the edge. It was a bit of a slower start from the laning phase. We didn't see them rotate out. They managed to find Kimizu lagging behind as well. But the racks are opened up mid, Mike. They're going to melt those mid racks. SMG could look for the end here, but it looks like they might pay respects, go for his secondary racks instead, kind of switching things up from game one. It's still hard for Execration to fight against this, though.
It certainly is. I mean, very, very hard to stop right now as it just feels like SMG just all over them. And you've got the refresher orb up now on mid one. In fact, they've jumped in again. Arfu gets the Fisher out and Bob's gone. I mean, you might lose Arfu now, and he is going to go down for 50. But that'll force a death there from Bob, and now the Ravage out from Roger onto 3 heroes into the Sonic Wave on Nando. He's still trying to fight, but he's got no damage. Refresh out mid one, he wants to go for more. Back in on Kamizu, they'll get the Centaur down. Oh boy, it's just so clean from SMG.
Very clinical movement out.
GG.
The GG is called by Carlo. Execration, they had an idea, but they didn't have the counter pick for the Broodmothers this time, and they allow that Afu Shaker in. It's one of SMG's best supports. It's one of Afu's best heroes throughout the many years of his Dota career, and he still performs excellently on it. Again, his laning phase might have been a bit slow there, Mike, but it just managed to build off, and you can see SMG getting the pop-offs. Very happy as a team. They've managed to get it working quite well. Execration, again, there were a couple of ideas there, but that last pick Centaur was probably the only thing left for them to kind of handle a Broodmother. It just wasn't enough, and once that aggression came in, once the rotations were coming in from SMG, they just knew the timings they had to play. They play a very fast game once more.
That they did, John. I believe it was 24-25 minutes again for game number 2. With that means a very early night for us, so we're going to head off. But we are going to be back with our lovely panel after a very short break. So stay tuned. We'll see you all again very, very soon.